in just a couple of words, I want to go down the line. The sport that you see most poised for growth in the next 5 years, and why? Start with you.
Esports, V sports. Like I distinguish, like V sports to me is like NBA 2K, Madden, you know, the kind of virtual version of what you're seeing on TV.
Simulated sports and esports competitions.
With my controller. And then esports, I mean, what you're seeing, we were just in the back with Mark Merrill at Riot Games, League of Legends, and Overwatch, and Blizzard, and those things. I mean, the engagement, I mean, he has 100 million users, current users of League of Legends alone. So you're talking about, you know, massive scale, and how that industry gets its arms around it, like, is yet to be seen from a total standpoint, but there's no stopping it. I mean, it's because it ties into all these different pieces, right? It ties into, I mean, my kids are better fantasy sports players because they're playing so many video games and they're getting so much information about players. Like, they know everything about, you know, what that receiver did, what his trends are, how many catches he had, you know, what kind of routes they run. So when they actually play fantasy, and that'll translate into better betting and prop betting and things like that. So I think that esports realm is gonna really continue to take off.
Craig?
I mean, outside of NASCAR, it would.
Can't say
I would say it'd have to be. I agree. I think the esports realm is just it just everybody can do it. Anybody can be a participant. You know, it's something that doesn't, you know, require years of training or things like that. It just opens this door up for a much bigger audience to say, hey, you know what? I have a chance at something like this, and I can go out there and try it. And I think that's certainly something that is just booming the growth in that. Now, how you monetize it is still, I think, up in the air, and where it ultimately goes is still questionable, but I think it's certainly, from just the fastest growing sport, it certainly is.
Stole my thunder. That's exactly what I was going to say. Was definitely esports, and again, we have now in the casino industry, Luxor has turned in. They have their esports arena, and again, I think the challenge from our perspective is, how do you get them to spend money, right? So you build these beautiful arenas, they come in for the day, they go to the McDonald's across the street, they're not spending money in the casino, they're not gamblers, so it is, how do you sort of transition them into that?
Right. Tim?
Yeah, I have to say this, I'm on the advisory council for the Dallas Mavericks, and they introduced us in our last meeting a couple of weeks ago to their 2K basketball team. Mm-hmm. And you had guys who are 18 years old introducing themselves as 10-year veterans. In the sport. It's really crazy, you know. So, and you know, you had, you know, these little guys 5'8", saying, "I'm the center for the Dallas Mavericks." You know? So I just found that fascinating. I mean, my son is 16 years old, so I hear him up there yelling and screaming, and we watched these guys, and they were doing the exact same thing. So I told my wife, well, maybe he doesn't have to go to college. Maybe he could go and do this. But I definitely think that is going to be the next biggest wave. Once the NFL gets a hold of it, and now you have NFL teams that you can actually play competitively against other teams around the league, I think it's going to be out the park. So.
Right, you have the last word.
I won't be the outlier. Obviously, esports. We actually had an ownership position in an esports team, and we were trying to look at it from a sporting perspective, from a gaming perspective, from a hospitality perspective. And continue to struggle with the monetization side of it, but it is real and it's not going anywhere.